Oklahoma to complete rebranding and delivering visual communication this media. Everything on the website is designed just as a single unifying objective. Let your business apart. We are at your service. Call 313-342-2166 and 313-342-2166 or online at www.sosgraphicdesigns.com. I found a search to a shelf that was reading cards and I couldn't find the one that identified yourself. So there's no worry call designed by me. We offer birthday cards. Our cards are one-of-a-kind birthday cards that every recipient will be able to place on their mantle with all of their other physical and treasured items. We also offer holiday cards. Just designed by me, no holiday will go unnoticed. Our unique greeting cards are sure to celebrate all holidays. We also have cards for special occasions. We are your one-stop shop for unique and three-dimensional handmade greeting cards for all occasions. Specializes. We also bring custom orders. Every card is crafted with care and made with love. So order cards from us today at 601-451-9532. Or visit our website, www.designsbydeeonline.com. Come check out the Mr. Great Computer Booth and Natural Hair Care Salon, located at 18070 Mount Elliott Street. Our new salon is spacious with adequate parking, Wi-Fi, and all brand state-of-the-art salon equipment. Come meet your local hair braiders and natural hair care specialists and check out our new hair care services such as hair treatments, box braids, cornrows, tree braids, cabana twists, children's braids, natural twists, lock extensions, pinky twists, goddess locks, updo, full weave, and more. Please feel free to visit us on the web at www.sistersbraidtools.com or call 313-826-0498. Here at Sisters Braid Tools, we offer professional care for exceptional care. We look forward to seeing you. Sisters Braid Tools is a proud recipient of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund.
We would like to invite you to help support the efforts of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund. Visit the website at www.unityandrebuildingfund.com. That's www.unityandrebuildingfund.com. We often hear how we need to work together to rebuild the city, and we're actually doing it. You can make online donations and click on links to track the progress of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund. And for more information, 313-868-0000, the local number. Again, 313-868-0000. Support the Unity and Rebuilding. You're watching WHPS, Island Article, FM 88.1 WHDR, the Highland Park, WVIE, 107.3 FM Charlotte, Amalia, Virgin Islands. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors. Brothers and sisters, are you tired of reading the Holy Scriptures and not really understanding what you read? And it's like reading the Holy Scriptures. Recording is started. That when you feel, you know, with someone, they have to get recorded your home. Then let's talk to one another. Let's reason with one another. Our Scriptural Discussion with the Son of Man. A live broadcast every Sunday at 12 noon on TV 33, FM 88.1 WHDR, and Comcast Cable. So why don't you call and let's discuss the Holy Bible and expand on the Holy Quran and come to an agreement about the Holy Scriptures and their true meaning. So tune in to a Scriptural Discussion with the Son of Man every Sunday at 12 noon right here on TV 33, FM 88.1 WHDR, and Comcast Cable. You can call in live on the air at area code 313-868-4336, 868-0342, and 868-0351. Of course, the area code is 313. That's 313-868-4336, 868-0342, and 868-0351. And now let's go live to the Scriptural Discussion with the Son of Man.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, the Truthful, and the Most Just. I greet all of you who have the hunger and thirst for righteousness. I greet you all with the greeting words of peace. May Allah's Salam Alaikum. I want to, as usual, start by inviting those who have some disagreement with us to come in and discuss it. We are not teaching something that we cannot be questioned on. Anytime a person is speaking and claim to be telling you the truth and run away from questions, what they tell you immediately becomes suspect. So we're not telling you things that we have to run away and hide after we say it. Now, what is it that you want to discuss with me? If anything, I'm at your disposal. That's not just for my black people, it's for all people. I'm at your disposal. Since I claim to be the Lord, then certainly, if I'm the Lord, then everybody has a stake in this. You have been being told by people who was Christian that if you believe in Jesus, you will be saved. You have been told by Orthodox Muslims that if you just believe that Muhammad was the messenger of Allah in so many words, that will save you. Yeah. You got all these people telling you all these different things. But in actuality, you have to believe in all of the messengers of God if you want to be saved. Because it took all of their knowledge to immunize. It takes all of their knowledge to immunize you against the devils. The devil, even though we use the term singularly, when the devil was asked his name, if you really recall in the gospel, when Jesus asked the devil, "What is thy name?" he said, "Legion, for we are many." Now you understand why Christ is a body composed of many members. And that's just like a hospital that have wings, it have more than one part to it. And the Son of Man, the scripture tell you, I'm the Son of Righteousness. The reason it calls me the S-U-N of righteousness is because the word is shining here in print. Darkness. The light is right here in the Holy Scriptures, shining. But since the book can't explain itself, then it says the light shined in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Let's see here. Let's read it verbatim. It's in the book of John. I think it's John. I'll tell you in a minute. This is the 4th verse. The 5th verse, pardon me. It says, and the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. This book can't explain itself. If you read something in any book, if you waiting on the book to tell you what's meant by what's said, the book can't talk. You know, it's just like this is instructions. But what good are instructions if you don't understand what you're reading? So it's just like when you driving down the highway. I like the term highway. Because that's what the Holy Scriptures is. It's a highway to heaven. It ain't the low road, it's the high road. Ain't no low road to heaven. The low road lead to hell. Do you understand? The high road, the highway. Well, what is the point of driving down the highway, especially at night? Now, you know, when you going through the scriptures here, thank you, baby. When you go through the scriptures, what you are actually doing is you are like a person in a car driving at night. Before the sun, understand, before the sun is up. When you driving on the highway, it's nighttime. Is that right? Then you got to have your own light to help you see that highway. Is that right? Well, now you understand why you got all these false religions out here. Because Allah already said he wasn't going to give his glory to another. He said, I have made him for my glory. This me. Let's see here. I believe it's in the book of Isaiah, but I'll find it. Maybe one of y'all will find it for me. But I will not give my glory to another. In the 42nd chapter of Isaiah. I mean, sometimes I ask y'all a question. Most time, every question I ask you about what the scripture talking about, it'd be something I've been already told you and you forgot. Well, then who telling me? Allah told me, he said, we shall make you recite so that you shall not forget. From the time I was a little boy, before I could eat, I had to recite verses. My mom used to put me in Christmas shows and all that kind of thing, give me long speeches to learn. They thought that was them doing that, but actually it was Allah doing it. Using them to make me recite so I would not forget. How you think I know all these things is in the book? Allah was preparing me all my life, and I did not know that I was being prepared for this. It's just like a car. when they working on that car, a whole lot of people working on that car on the assembly line, but it's each car individually being worked on. The car don't know what is being worked on. The car is not conscious. Well, at the same time, I was dead, like that car. I didn't know that everything and everybody that Allah put around me was working on me. But I know it now. So in the 42nd, what verse, bro? In the 42nd chapter of Isaiah, it says, I am the Lord, that is my name. And the word of God is Lord over everybody. It says, and my glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. Let's see here. I like to this 43rd chapter of Isaiah. I like the way he put it even better. It says in the 43rd chapter, it says in the 5th verse, it says, fear not, for I am with thee. Remember, it says his name shall be called Emmanuel, meaning what? Meaning God with us, the truth with us. You notice, what was with Moses? The truth was with Moses. What was with Jeremiah and Hosea and Jesus and Muhammad and all of the prophets? All of them had one thing in common. The truth that they brought came with them. Then they said, unto us a child is born. Unto you is born in the city of David a child. And his name shall be called Emmanuel, meaning what? The word that was with us is now in the flesh in this one man. His name shall be called God with us. God is with us. Why? Because the word now that they brought is made flesh, standing up talking to you. So it's all pretty clear. It says, I will bring thy seed from the east and gather thee from the west. What did Jesus compare the kingdom of heaven to? He said, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a sower, which went forth to sow. What did he sow? He sowed seeds. I will bring thy seeds from the east. Where the Holy Bible come from? Where the Holy Quran come from? I will bring thy seed from the east and gather thee. From where? From slavery in the west. Huh? Getting real now? I say, is it getting real to you? All right. Let's make it a little more real to you. As you look at this, the coming out of the east, it said, even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Huh? Why? Because seeds, they are locked up little books that the Son got to open. I didn't hear you. Yeah. Who opening this understanding of the scripture to you? The Son opening it up. The Son of righteousness. That's what the book called me. The S-U-N of righteousness. When you driving down the highway and you ain't got no lights, you ain't gonna drive too fast, is you? Matter of fact, most people just gonna pull over and see why they ain't got no lights. The smart people will. So as you was driving, being driven by your desires through this dark world. I remember they sang that song and said, I'm just a weary pilgrim traveling through this world of sin, getting ready for that city when the saints go marching in. Even soldiers don't do no marching at night if they can help it. Huh? They find a place that they figure safe and they set up camp. Is that right? Okay, now let's read a little further. It says, I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. This to show you that America is a divine country. What did you say? What did he say? You heard me. I said America is a divine country set up by the divine hand of God. How you know? Where you see people coming from? I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far. Where do people come to America from? The better question would be, where don't they come to America from? Huh? It says, bring my sons from far and my daughters from the ends of the earth, north, south, east, and west. All of them trying to get to the shores of America. Even got the statue out there that said, bring me your tired, your poor, huh? Your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free. Huh? What's the first amendment of the Constitution? The freedom of speech. Yearning to breathe free. Huh? Because you get in trouble, you ain't got the freedom to breathe free outside of what God set up. The others learning to be that way. But this one was set up on that principle. No more dictators. No more tyrants. He even started off enslaving us and decided no more slavery. I mean, if you're gonna blame people when they do wrong, why not give them credit when they do something that they're trying to do right? Yeah, it's some like Donald Trump and the people that support him, they want to go back. Well, everybody who put his hand to the plow and look back, you're not fit for God's kingdom. You know what I'm saying? That's why you don't hear none of God's words coming out their mouth. That's why they can go down there on that southern border and do to other people with their babies what they be crying holy hell if it was done to them. You low down devils. You know, there was a time when you beat the devil and it was condoned by God. He told him, beat the devil. Go and tempt him. You remember the donkey? when he asked Balaam, why you beat me these 3 times? And he said, because you mocked me. What does mockery mean? I know what mockery means. It is, you know, I remember my daddy. We used to mock him. Hey, when he wasn't around, we didn't let him catch us. Some of us could sound just like Bounce. he get to run it. Say, get your rump in here. And we'd fall out laughing, sounding like daddy. Huh? So what did God say to the devil? He said, thou hast no authority over any of them, my servants, except him who follows you, who mocks you. Do you understand? Yeah. It's just like when you stand up talking about God sent you. When God didn't send you, you were mocking God. You are mocking the one that the word truly was with. You mocking Jesus. You mocking Moses. And Allah gonna pay you back your mockery. See, you done forgot something. That God cast angels into hell that displeased him. When you start mocking somebody, you done forgot you're going to be held to the same standard. Why you think all them preachers now, the cover being pulled off of them, stuff, the Catholic Church, you finding out there a bunch of wolves run around here in robes, acting like they the sheep, and they the wolves. Mocking God. Huh? You can't take a messenger of God's place. You can't put yourself in a messenger of God's place. Only God can put a messenger in the place of his messenger. But anyway, let's get back to this. I ain't going to dwell on that. Ain't nobody trying to argue. I think everybody done realized that when I'm talking, it ain't too much you can say. But that's right. You ain't got no argument for me. I wouldn't be the Lord if you could argue with me. You know, you think I don't know that offends people? Come on in here and prove me wrong. That's all you got to do. Just come on in here and show the world that you can argue with me. You can't even have talk without insulting people. An insult is not an argument. It's a manifestation that the one who's doing it is a fool. If you want to know how many fools it is, just put a big fool out there and see how many others follow him. Is he talking about Donald Trump? If you got to ask, you one of them. You got to be a fool to throw dirt and throw insults on God's religion. You got to be a fool. Even Putin ain't never used the term Islamic terrorists. There's no such thing as an Islamic terrorist. But you still hear that fool doing it. Huh? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said any country would be a fool to go to war against a Muslim. You declare war on me? Who ain't did nothing to you? Okay. Take it up with what that lady name that's spinning around on the East Coast. It's doing the hokey pokey over there. Take it up with Florence. Don't forget it, some of her sisters is out there too. You sure you want to go to war against me? You thought you wanted to go to war against the Justice Department, the FBI, and all them patriotic men. I told you they gonna get you. I know what a patriot would do. He ain't gonna promise you nothing. You keep on messing with him. Keep screwing around with his country. Yeah? You know, just because people are courteous to you, just because people are respectful of you, you took that for them being scared of you or something, or being stupid. I promise you, when they come handcuff you, they're going to be so courteous. Would you please put your wrists out? Yeah. Drag all of them off to jail. That's right. You know how insulting it is for you to be standing up in a nation that is a nation of laws, a nation that everyone is bound by a common thread called Constitution, the law. You know how insulting it is for you to stand up and suggest that somebody can't be arrested? Do you know what an insult that is? You think that the office that you hold is if you get in there, you can't be arrested? Haven't you seen people get lawmakers? The people who make the law. When they break the law, they get arrested. Huh? Now they done convinced the dummies that a man that's president can't get arrested. Okay. Okay, you keep thinking that. So anyway, let's go on back to this. And I'm gonna tell you something else. You people over there at Trick News, you know, what you doing when you get out there and lie and you purposely put out propaganda to make people to distrust and not respect the FBI and the Justice Department, you are actually guilty of sedition. And they can arrest you. And one of these days, you're going to pay for that. You mark my words. So, but anyway, it said, I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far and my daughters from the ends of the earth. Well, you know who that's talking about. Can't no white man say he the father of nobody. Can't no brown man claim to be the father of everybody. Can't no yellow man claim to be that. The only man can claim everybody as his sons and daughters is the black man. Everybody on this planet belongs to the Father. Now let's just face it. You call your children what? You said them my children over there. Well, everybody on the planet is my children. According to the scripture, the earth is the Lord's, the fullness thereof, the world, and they that dwell therein. Well, then bring my sons and daughters from far, even everyone that hungers and thirsts for righteousness, that is called by my name. That's what it says. Even everyone that is called by my name. Well, he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And his name is called what? Okay. Well, everybody that is attracted to the word of God, when they hear the word of God, it attracts them. It calls them. Well, bring everyone that is called by my name. Then it says, now understand something. It says he had a name written that what? No man knew but he himself. Now, I'm on the internet calling everybody to hear the word of God, which actually I'm calling them to hear me. Do you understand? And he said, I have created him for my glory. I'm going to create a mortal of sounding clay, of black mud fashioned into the shape of a slave. So when I have made him complete and breathed into him of my spirit, the understanding of my word, fall down, humble yourself, and make obeisance unto him. All right. He said, I have created him for my glory. I have formed him. Yeah, I have made him complete. That's right. This is him. This is him standing there. So he didn't give this understanding to nobody else. If somebody else had this understanding, then it wouldn't have said I have created him. It is that I created them. But he said he was going to create one mortal. And that one will be what you call the supreme being. That's right. You know, the mind created the body. The body didn't create the mind. I told you that from the beginning. You think that our beginning was this flesh and this temple here. No. The mind that formed this flesh, we don't know how long that mind and at what point that mind became conscious to move matter around and do things with matter. We don't know. But we do know that that mind has existed as long as matter has existed. And so we form these temples. And the only created man on the earth is the black man. Everybody else is Semitic. We're the only one got here without father and mother. I said, we're the only people on the earth that got here and didn't have a father and a mother to bring us here. That's why you can't get rid of us. Even if we erased everything, and including ourselves, you couldn't get rid of us because we just create ourselves again. That's just the thing that ain't gonna happen. We are not suicidal in the first place. You see, we put that in you. We don't have to kill ourselves. We change what we don't like in ourselves, and we try to teach you to do that. Repent, don't die. Repent. But you're so wicked that your ears stop working. So, but anyway, I was telling the believers, wherever you are, we don't worry about what the storms and stuff gonna do. You done forgot that when the death angel went through Egypt, everybody that had the blood sign on the door of the Lamb, the death angel passed over them. Huh? Yes, sir. That's prophecy. That's why I could say what I said when that tornadoes and all that stuff, they be forecasting them. I said, Allah's not angry with me. I fall short, but he know I'm trying to do his will. Oh, he's not angry with me. My daddy used to give out whippings, and he'd go pick all around me sometime. Because what? He wasn't mad at me. Because I hadn't did nothing that displeased him. It was some of my brothers, my siblings, who was in there hollering, I ain't gonna do it no more. That's the first thing you holler when he puts up on you. I ain't gonna do it no more. He said, I know you ain't. And that didn't stop no whipping either. So you when you mistreat people that you have at a disadvantage, and they seemingly don't have no way to deal with you, well, there's your proof that, and you don't correct yourself, then there's your proof that you don't believe in God, because you think you don't have to answer for what you do to people. Then you make God have to prove he's God. And he don't mind proving it. No, he don't mind proving it. Sometimes he proves it by just stopping your heart. And then sometimes he proves it through other people. He, like the Justice Department or whatnot. He put in their mind what to do to get you. Yeah. Take those that you took for your friends. You want to know what irony is somebody who lies. Have you ever met a liar that you could trust? When you find out a person is a liar, what make you think you could trust him? Okay. A liar don't mind taking an oath because he ain't gonna keep it no way. So here you done elected a liar for president. Somehow you thought that he was just putting on, that when he got in there, he was going to What did Omarosa say? Everybody, all y'all gonna be on your knees to Donald Trump. Is that what she said? Is that what she said? Gonna be on your knees to Donald Trump, begging his pardon or whatnot. Huh? She sure took them words back, didn't she? Okay. Now, she was loyal to him. You know, when you pledge your loyalty to a liar, you have to become a liar too. And some of them, they thought he was going to change. He didn't change. So like everybody in there, knowing they're dealing with a liar, they start recording each other. Huh? Yeah. Now he said that they flipping on him or they turning on him. There ought to be a law against flipping. It ought to be a law. It ought to be a law. I couldn't believe that came out that man's mouth. The man ain't got no objectivity when it comes to himself. You could ask yourself, did he hear himself? It ought to be a law against somebody doing wrong with you and then telling on you. Oh, man. But anyway, I mean, it's funny to me. You say, that man ain't no man of God. That's what they say. They say I ain't no man of God because I have too much fun teaching. I'm sorry. Anyway, turn over here to Psalms, the second chapter. What the fourth verse say? He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh at him. Well, I mean, what? See, you thought you found some fault in me. Here's a man that tricked the American people into putting him in the White House. Never intended to do what was best for them. He never cared about this country. Tell me something. What kind of father goes through his house turning his family members against each other? Do you suppose he loves his family? You know what the scriptures say about a house divided against itself? What's the name of this country? What kind of states? The very name of this country teaches you the number one job of the president. It is to unite the country on that which is best and to be an example and a bulwark of sort to the worst angels in each one of us. Nobody, no leader of a nation that is patriotic to that nation spends his time trying to figure out the differences in his people to magnify those differences to keep them at each other, unless he wants to keep them busy looking at those things that they differ about so that they be more concerned with their differences with each other than what he's up there doing. So I want you to wake up. Now that he has been treacherous to America, all of those that was his friends is turning on him now. That's justice, ain't it?
Yes, sir.
Let me show you. I like the symmetry in that. You see? Well, let's look at this.
Guys are raised by Paul Manafort, freed on. I thought it was a very, very strong signal or whatever. I know Mr. Manafort, I haven't spoken to him in a long time, but I know he was with the campaign, as you know, for a very short period of time, relatively short period of time, but I've always known him to be a good man. I thought it was a very, they do that very seldom. So I was surprised to see it. I was very, very surprised to see it. We haven't really been involved. Excuse me? Have you spoken to the FBI director about it? No, I have not. But to do that early in the morning, whether or not it was appropriate, you'd have to ask them. I've always found Paul Manafort to be a very decent man. And he's like a lot of other people, probably makes consultant fees from all over the place. Who knows? I don't know. But I thought that was a very
he knew that Manafort was had been over there consulting and getting fees and getting paid by dictators and stuff to represent them and to do their bidding. He just said it. He may have been collecting consulting fees from all over the place or whatever. What do you mean all over the place? You knew exactly where he was getting it from. Just a moment. Let's let him talk some more. You know, you give a crook enough rope, and what will he do? Yeah, he hang himself. Let's see. Now, here this man done been found guilty on 8 counts. And he's talking about he feel bad for him. And he's the head of the Justice Department. He's the president of the United States. Talking about he feels bad for a convicted felon. Just wait. Let's see here. You know, that's, in other words, Manafort is his friend, right? Well, let's see how much a friend he is now. Let's see.
Amazing work that you guys are doing, but we have this stunning development. President Trump's former campaign chairman, Paul Manafort, has done what he repeatedly swore he would not do. Agree to a deal. That means he will cooperate with the Robert Mueller investigation. Just a short time ago, Manafort pleaded guilty to 2 charges that include conspiracy against the United States tied to money laundering and a count of obstruction of justice that's tied to witness tampering. Manafort is already back in jail. The White House reacting in a statement claiming this had absolutely nothing to do with the president or his victorious 2016 presidential campaign. It is totally unrelated. NBC News intelligence and national security reporter Ken Delanian is outside the federal courthouse in Washington. NBC's Jeff Bennett is at the White House for us. So Ken, let's start with the details of this deal, because again, this not only was someone who said he wouldn't do it, but it was someone the president.
Now, before I let this finish, I want you to understand something. Now, when he's dealing treacherously against the United States, he didn't see no problem with that. But when those who now turning on him and bringing the truth out of what he been doing, now he feels like they wronging him. If you felt that treachery was wrong, then you shouldn't have started doing it yourself. Huh? Don't you know that the minute you prove yourself to be treacherous, that the minute you prove yourself to be someone who is a traitor or who would betray the trust of people, you are showing people that they should not be someone who's loyal to you. Because when it's all said and done, where did he get his millions from? If he's a million or a billionaire, where did he make his money? Didn't he make that money in America? Where'd all these people, the Koch brothers and all these people that's now dealing so treacherously and trying to buy up the American government? Who made them rich? The American people? Then how just is it for you to take that which made you wealthy and try to turn it into something that would deny that same gift to others? Now you talk about I told you, niggardly. You know, while making my people, while making us into niggards, selfish, stingy, can't stand one another. That's all of this stuff. That's just part of what the black man and woman who was born in America got to overcome. We have to overcome self-hatred. But now you see self-hatred it's not just confined to us. You think these people care, most of these wealthy people who help keep Donald Trump in office, you think they care about white people? They could get less than a damn about you. All they care about is keeping their money that they wasting as fast as they making it. Look at they talking about Manafort crying broke now. Man went through $60 million. That's just the money they know about. He got homes everywhere. What do you need all them homes for? What? What do he need a home in Florida? Homes in New York. Home everywhere. Everywhere he go, got home. Why? For what purpose? Just because he got more money than he know what to do with. Like the man who had his barns filled, and he said, well, in the Bible, man had his barns filled. And you would have thought he said, I think I'm going to help the poor now. And I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to tear these down and build bigger ones. Got all these homeless people in America. This man got a beautiful home and could go to any state and live in a hotel and visit there for a while and then go back home. And instead, he go buy millions of dollars, spend millions of dollars on homes that he can't live in. But every now and then, he go and spend a night or two there. And got people sleeping on the street. Now, I'm supposed to feel sorry for him. Who did he feel sorry for when he was able to help people? That's coming for the rest of you rich people. You don't care about nobody but your wicked self. And instead of trying to help the poor, you try to figure out a way to rob them and make them blame each other. At a time now, FEMA gonna need resources. What did he do what did Congress do? What did them people do up there in Congress when they gave all them tax breaks to the wealthy people? The monies that the government was getting from them, now that's been cut. Then they secretly, if people would be honest, it's a whole lot of people's Social Security and stuff done been cut now. They secretly taken away from the poor so they could give to the rich. And you helping them. You on the internet. You'll block my broadcast, but you'll put all that garbage up there to deceive your own people. I believe in freedom of speech, but I'm not going to let nobody come in here and use my forum to lie to you. In principle, you've already agreed to that. You said you have the freedom of speech, but you do not have the freedom to run into a crowded theater and holler fire when there is no fire. What that tells me is you know the difference in the freedom of speech and the freedom to use propaganda on people. In other words, to lie to people. You don't have the freedom of speech is not the freedom to lie. Unless you tell people. Now, I'm just making this up. Well, if you tell people you're just making it up, oh, okay, go on. That way, anybody that come away talking about what you said and they believe you and all that stuff, didn't you hear the man tell you he was just making that up? Mr. Fool. Okay, I'm just telling you, you know, you got a lot to answer for. Every one of you. You better watch how you treat people. You better be careful what you let fly out of your mouth. If you thought you was doing something right, you wouldn't think you needed to hide it. Keep on. Keep on. Allah gonna fix every one of you. You mark my words. And, you know, you want to you can't have it both ways. You can't want people to deal uprightly with you and then you deal treacherously with them. Man sit up there talking about he been dealing with flippers for what, 40 years. It's going to come out what Manafort was really worried about. I mean, his lawyer, good as said, he said he wanted the safety of his family. He knows that he knows things and they threaten him by threatening his family. That's the only reason he was quiet in the first place. But you know, if the Justice Department brought down Al Capone and all them other bad actors, well, they ain't exactly no choir boys up there. You know, Mr. Mueller is an ex-Marine, if there is a such thing. I mean, you ain't got no wolf tickets to sell nobody, man, about what you can do. You ain't the only one can do stuff. And you know, when right is on your side and you have to do something, woe to whoever right ain't on their side. Anyway, let's finish listening at this.
Repeatedly praised for standing strong. So what do we know? Why do we think he decided to make this deal?
That is key, Chris, and it's hard to overstate the significance of this day for the Robert Mueller investigation into Russian 2016 election interference. As you said, Paul Manafort had already been convicted in Virginia. He was facing 9 years in prison in Virginia. He was facing another massive trial in Washington, D.C. this week, and he decided to cut a deal. He pled guilty to 2 counts, but we shouldn't get all wrapped up in the number of counts. The bottom line is Paul Manafort went into court today, Chris, and admitted to every bad thing that Robert Mueller's office said about him. And he has agreed to cooperate and to tell Robert Mueller everything he knows about any illegal conduct. And he's on the...
What does that say about all that stuff Donald Trump been saying about he's a decent man and and they wronged him and it's a witch hunt and all that? What does that say about when Manafort went in there and confessed that everything that they were saying about him was true? You know, what he say? We need swift justice. I think we need to let justice take its own course. You notice everything in nature, you can wonder what it is. You can just throw seeds out there and say, I wonder what they is. You ain't got to give it time. It will unfold right before your eyes. The sun will cause it to open up to you and show you exactly what it is, till you can even write a book on it. Huh? You see all these books people starting to write about Donald Trump? Huh? You can't say they're lying either because they was right there with him. Huh? And he's getting exactly what he deserves. And the harm that he did and is causing many of you, you know, if you hadn't went down there and cast your vote against a woman who hadn't did nothing but serve this country ever since she was an adult. You voted not so much for him, you voted against Miss Clinton based on lies. I ain't say she was no saint, but now you done found out that a lot of them ads that was put out there was made up by Russians posing as American citizens, posing as American websites. So a lot of the pain that you suffering right now was because you voted instead of voting your own knowledge and understanding. You used gossip to make judgments about. You didn't even bother to think that when she was first lady, wasn't none of that stuff being said about her. Everybody was praising her for how she conducted herself as first lady, even when that scandal came out with her husband. Is that right? How her comportment was just spotless when she was a senator, and nobody was saying all that hateful stuff about her. When she was a senator for New York, was anybody giving bad reports on her? She was Secretary of State, and then they tried to manufacture something against her. It was investigated and investigated and investigated, which it was nothing but a farce. Now, Trey Gowdy and all of them crooks up there that actually done been bought and paid for. And I believe they right there on the same level as Trump. All of them are guilty of treason. When you do something purposely to harm your own country and you are in the government, that's treason. I don't care how you look at it. When you go against the Constitution and you're in the government and you do so knowingly, that's treason. You swore to uphold the Constitution and defend it against all enemies, foreign and domestic. How would you like it if your immune system just shut down and start letting all kind of viruses and stuff invade your body and don't do nothing about it? How would you like it? That's what the Constitution is to the American, to the United States. It is the immune system. Talking about this letter from a lady that said this man, when he was in high school, Kavanaugh was in high school, he tried to rape her in so many words. Yeah, it was a long time ago, but this man wants to be the on the Supreme Court for life. Don't you think you need to investigate to see whether or not that's relevant? I mean, when you're in high school, I mean, you on the verge of adulthood. Can't say you didn't know what you was doing. I know when I was 15, 16, and 17, I knew a whole lot of things that my parents didn't know about the world. And I knew about what I was doing, too.
Sir, you have a question?
Yes.
From someone whose screen name is First Know Thyself. And he asks, what constitutional provisions did Trump violate?
What constitutional? The first thing he violated was his oath of office to uphold the Constitution. When you attack, you're supposed to be the president of the United States, and you get out expressing your personal views. Any president has the right to his personal views because he's still a citizen of America. But he does not have a right to use the office of the presidency to attack the Justice Department. That's treason. I'll tell you another provision that he violated was the right of peaceful assembly and the right to peaceful protest. He had no right to get out there and call Mr. Kaepernick. Am I pronouncing his name right? That young football player. If that man wanted to take a knee and in protest, he had a right to do that. And he had a right to not have the president of the United States getting involved in it, talking about he's a SOB. And how could you ask me a question like that? Probably because you don't respect the Constitution yourself. Otherwise, you would have known that that man been violating the Constitution ever since he took office. He gets out in the public and tell the people that the press is the enemy of the people. And he did it as president. He didn't do it as a private citizen. He did it as president of the United States. He gets out and tells makes the statement that the press, newspapers are the enemy of the American people. Somewhere I know the Constitution says that there's freedom of the press. Now, you may not like what the press is saying about you, but you didn't seem to have no problem with it when you was out there accusing President Obama of not being a American citizen and talking about we need to see his birth certificate and all of that kind of thing. You didn't have no problem with the press then. Now, you answer my question. Why did you ask me that? Why did you ask me that question?
Yes, sir. He just left another comment right before you asked what you just asked. Did you want to hear what else he had?
What did he say?
He says, again, what provisions did he violate? If he violated the Constitution, I'm sure he would have been arrested. He has every right.
No, sir. No. You sitting up there, one of them sycophants out there. Why don't you come in here and talk to me? Come out, you sure that if you don't know the Constitution and probably don't care to know it. The Constitution don't enforce itself. That's part of his job. And then when the FBI started going after those who deal treacherously and don't uphold the Constitution, then you get up there talking about how come he ain't been arrested. Well, before you can be arrested, they have to investigate you because it's sycophants like you out there. That's this one that's on there talking. And you say something crazy to me, I'll throw your behind in hell. Because you don't care about justice. All you care about is trying to make wrong look right. And you say another word to me, I'm going to cast you into hell. Don't say nothing else to me. Don't print nothing else. It's people like you that's got the world in the shape it's in now. Now, if you want to talk to me, you send him the number. Now, don't you type now another word to me. Oh, you know, that's Donald Trump stuff. You old coward. Get up in the middle of the night. Man, in fact, you don't have to get up. You're already up. Can't sleep. Typing stuff on Twitter. Yeah, I tell you what kind of mind do it take to get in a room full of people that ain't doing nothing but insulting each other? You don't see me on no Twitter. No, I don't need to be on there. You better be glad I ain't on there. Maybe one day I will get on there. Start throwing all of you in hell. Now dare me to do it. Okay. Now what are you saying, man? Press *6 on your phone. Okay, now what are you saying?
I'm not saying anything. I asked the question. First of all,
well, I answered your question.
All due respect. All due respect. a caller.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now, what is it that you are saying? Do you know the Constitution?
I think I'm fairly well versed in it.
Well, then how do you not know that he has violated his oath of office by not upholding the Constitution? Did Mr. Kaepernick have the right to take a knee if he wanted to during the playing of the national anthem?
Of course he did.
Well, then why do you ask me when did President Trump, this man that claimed to be a president, violate the Constitution by what he did? He's supposed to be upholding that man's right to do that.
Well, he didn't stop them from doing it. He just
Look.
He just,
No, I ain't accepting that. I'm not accepting that.
I disagree with this position, but
He didn't have the right as president of the United States to call that man an SOB for not standing for the national anthem. He did not have the right. Now, if he's a private citizen, just like when President Obama said that what's the name of that police department during Mr. Gates, I think that was his name, where the policeman arrested the man for breaking in his own house, Cambridge, and President Obama said the Cambridge police acted stupidly, and the people rightly got on President Obama because he spoke he was speaking as his private feelings rather than as the president of the United States. And he corrected himself.
right.
When President Bush saw Rodney King get beat down by a lot of police officers, and he weighed in on it with his private feelings that it's plain to see that they was, he condemned them. And that he came back and corrected himself and said he shouldn't have did that. Nixon saw, what's his name? Charles Manson. When he saw the heinous things that Manson was accused of, he said, plain to see he's guilty. And he came back and said he misspoke. Said, I never should have said that.
Correct.
Then why are you asking me about Donald Trump?
But his speech did not violate.
His speech violated his oath of office. His speech violated his oath of office. Don't no private citizen, ain't no private citizen took no oath to uphold the Constitution. But when you become president, or you become governor, or you become someone who has authority over people, then you don't have the right to take a personal attack on any of those people that you have at your under your jurisdiction. They have rights that you have sworn that you will uphold. Just like when the Nazi Party want to march. The president can't refuse to acknowledge them to march. They have a right according to the Constitution. If they do something that is like running over that poor woman, he had a duty to speak out against it and condemn it. But when he didn't have no duty to speak out against that man for protesting all these black people getting shot down by white officers.
Okay.
And the only reason you trying to defend it is because you white and don't like black people.
First of all, I'm not white.
Well, you sound like it. The only thing that ain't white about you is your skin.
Well, I'm sorry. You feel that way.
Well, it ain't no feel. Because if you really was for justice, you wouldn't even be trying to argue that.
I am for justice.
No, you're not. No, you're not for justice. That's why you don't care what happened to us for the past 400 years. You don't care.
So you do not know me to say that.
No, you don't know me. For any person that's been outside of America or inside of America, that hear a black man standing up talking about the wrongdoing of white people, and you want to question my authority to do so, you obviously been living in a hole.
I'm not questioning your authority to
and you, the thing that you called yourself asking, I answered it. I told you that the president of the United States is not supposed to be out using, don't be talking while I'm talking. I told you that the president of the United States has no right to use the presidency to put forth his personal opinions about people. No, his duty was to uphold Mr. Kaepernick's right to that protest, not to condemn it. And if you don't know that, it's because you don't want to know it. Show me where in the Constitution it says that you have to stand for the national anthem. Where is that at?
Nowhere.
Well then, it is in the Constitution that you have a right to peaceful protest. Who was Mr. Kaepernick hurting if he didn't want to stand? Who was that hurting?
Are you gonna let me answer? Mr. Kaepernick did not hurt anyone.
Okay. Well, he exercised his right to peaceful protest. Then why was the president out there saying hateful things about him?
In my opinion, the president was saying hateful things about him because the president doesn't understand the reason.
No, sir, brother. No, sir. No, you ain't gonna get away with saying he didn't understand. He did understand what he was doing. Just like he understood that he was lying and telling a lie when he was talking about President Obama wasn't born in the United States. He knew exactly what he was saying. And he knew exactly who he was talking to. He was pleasing all of those people who need some excuse to try to justify their hatred of black people.
May I comment?
Yeah.
Okay. Just like you have your opinion on Donald Trump.
No, sir. No. You know what an opinion is. Just a moment. Do you know what an opinion is? Tell me what is an opinion.
My understanding, an opinion is an idea or belief.
Well, see, I'm not talking about a belief. I'm not giving an opinion. I'm giving you an observation based on the facts. The fact is, Mr. Kaepernick had a right to take a knee if he wanted to, or to sit on the bench if he wanted to. And that wasn't nobody's business to tell him he couldn't do that. He was not breaking any laws. If the president didn't like it, then as his personal opinion, his personal feelings, then he didn't have to like it. But he had to recognize that that man had a right to do that. And he should have left that alone.
And I agree with you.
Okay, well then this discussion is over.
Well, you still have.
No, sir. You want to play the devil's advocate. We don't do that in here. That's why the country in the shape it's in, and that's why the world is in the shape it's in. I will agree on the truth I will not agree on hypothetical beliefs that are not based on any facts that you have. You started this by asking me what did he do to violate the Constitution. And I told you what he did.
I asked you what, I specifically asked you what.
I know what you asked. Read his question back.
Violate.
Yeah, so what constitutional provisions did Donald Trump violate?
And I told you what provisions he violated.
Which one, which can you?
You wasn't listening. Then why should I tell you again? Now, see, this is the kind of thing that you bigots are guilty of. You notice I can tell you what you said because I was listening to you. Now you want me to repeat what I said because you wasn't listening. All you was doing was being quiet, waiting on your chance to say something. So now what you do, you go on before you get yourself in trouble. Because, you know, I'm not interested in talking to someone who's not listening to what I'm saying. And you just told me that you're not listening. Because I took my time and I told you, I enumerated the violations that he had did. Now you asking me again to go back over it? When I just told you? No, you done wasted enough of my time. You done wasted enough of my time. If you want to support Donald Trump, you keep on supporting him. Because that's what he was put out there for. That's what he was put up there for. No, I don't want to hear it. You get on out of here. I done heard enough from you. I said I done heard enough from you. You go on.
I'll continue to listen.
Because you're not listening to me, so I'm not interested in nothing you saying. When I find out that a person is not listening to me, I don't want to listen to them. You're not going to turn this into some back and forth between two people that don't seem to be rooted in reality. Anyone who is understanding of the Constitution just in a rudimentary way knows that Donald Trump has not lived up to his oath of office. The man standing up in there attacking the Justice Department. That's treason. It's one thing for you to talk about the FBI and you a private citizen. Well, you can talk about them all you want. That's your private. But the people of America put you in a position that whenever you say anything, it's news. And you get up there and you tell the American people that the FBI can't be trusted. What are you doing? What happens to America when the people lose trust in those who they have entrusted to enforce the laws and to investigate wrongdoing? If they can't trust the investigators, you are inciting them to rise up against their own government.
I think you have to give.
Shut up, man. I ain't talking to you. You see, you know, I'm not a person who has a lot of patience with someone who's willfully ignorant. The scripture says, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Because you reject knowledge, I will also reject you. You needn't think I'm doing something disrespectful to this man. He's already disrespected me. You just ain't have sense enough to know it. Now, I know when I'm being disrespected. I present facts to you and then you start calling my facts an opinion. 2 times 2 is 4. That's a fact. That's not my opinion. That's not my belief. Now you get on back there with that circle of people that you run with, and y'all help yourself. Go on and believe all the lies and delusional ideas that you want. But you're not going to bring that in here. I'm speaking facts. I'm quoting Constitution, and you are coming in here talking about some opinions. So I don't want to hear it.
To do that truthfully and accurately, and that is a huge deal. He ran the Trump campaign. Obviously, he was in sensitive, high-level meetings. Robert Mueller is actively investigating whether the Trump campaign coordinated with Russia. You know, we don't know what Manafort knows, but we know that he got a deal to plead guilty to 2 counts. This also really validates and vindicates an investigation that the president has repeatedly called a witch hunt. Because as you said, the Manafort team for a year has been downplaying and dismissing this case, calling it weak, calling it selective prosecution. But Paul Manafort went in today and said, I'm guilty. And he said he admitted to money laundering, bank fraud. He only pled guilty to 2 charges, but he admitted to a raft of misconduct, Chris. And the Mueller team had it all nailed down. And essentially, Manafort's lawyer gave us shed a little light on his decision-making process. I think we have sound on that. Let's take a listen.
Tough day for Mr. Manafort, but he's accepted responsibility. And we wanted to make sure that his family was able to remain safe. And
that's the main thing right there. So if I go telling on these people, they'll kill my family. I know what that's about. The Justice Department told them, don't worry about it. We got that. They ain't the only one know how to kill somebody. Huh? He's worrying about his family. Where your family gonna be safe? Huh? He said, "Well, I'm gonna tell you everything I know." That's what he tell. So now you know these boys. You know they know who to threaten. Do you see any people in the Justice Department worrying about who gonna bother their family? You can go down that road with them if you want them. You be like that Japanese admiral said. I'm afraid we ain't did nothing but woke up a sleeping giant. You know, people that try to show you respect, and people that you know what the FBI, what the I stand for. Do you know what it means to investigate? That's a scientific term. Scientists investigate. When he's looking through that microscope, he's investigating. When they come knocking on your door, finally get ready to come get you, they done already did their investigation. You talking about, you got me wrong. Yeah, well, this is you here, and this is you there, and this is you here. I respect that. They don't come in there with no opinions about you, with no gossip about you. They come in there with the facts about you. And for that man to be standing up there telling you that the FBI manufactured, man, their reputation. Now, I never thought I'd be standing up trying to defend the FBI. But I know the truth. And I know that you don't, look, their reputation is everything. The FBI ain't like the police department. Anybody can't even be on the FBI. You got to have some kind of, they're going to do a background check on you to find out about your integrity before they even consider you to be with them, because their reputation is on the line every time they investigate and bring charges. They can't have nobody out there planting evidence and faking evidence, because the minute they get caught one time, it's over. If they get caught one time trumping up evidence on somebody, it's over for them. That reputation of theirs is through, and people can't trust them. Then it's about to be dismantled. They was asking Mr. Ray about is the presidency had a nervous breakdown. Mr. Ray said, I don't know nothing about that. You know, what are you asking him something like that for? That's the way you do. They don't deal in gossip. They don't deal in making judgments without evidence and all that kind of stuff. They ain't got no time for that kind of stuff. If you want to give your spin or you become a private citizen, then you can talk about what you think. You know, just like me, I'm a private citizen, but I'm also the Son of Man. And you needn't think that I'm basing my opinions, as you call them, on don't know. I look at it's a fact. When you ask me a question about what violations the man committed of the Constitution, I mean, it's been out there in the public. I done heard him do it. And you have too. But the only reason you don't believe you have is because you don't know the Constitution. You lied. If you knew the constitutional rights that people have, you would know when someone wasn't upholding those rights.
Sir, he has another question.
No, I don't want to hear no more from him, because he wasn't listening to me when I answered his first question. So I'm not interested in no more questions from him. No. I mean, how many of y'all heard the answer I gave him? Did I need to repeat it? You know? So, you know, I don't, the only way to make people do better is to, when they don't do the right thing, when they do something they ain't got no business, you get on them about it. You don't let them keep getting away with it. The only reason he in there now is because you let him keep getting away with insulting people. Let a man get in the White House that don't know the first rule of civilized behavior. No, the man is a savage.
He's accepted responsibility, and this is for conduct that dates back many years, and everybody should remember that.
So there's Kevin Downing sort of summing up the difficulties.
Even that, when he said this is for conduct that dates back for many years. Well, didn't Donald Trump say they've been knowing each other for years? Yeah, this is for conduct that dates back many years. You see, I told you, you're known by the company you keep. You know, I mean, you know, it's just like the only person who you can't associate with the company he keep is a physician. You got to know when to associate him and when to realize that he's not keeping company with them people. He's trying to help them people. Do you understand? It's crooks get sick too. You understand? And so he's there trying to help them, but outside of his practice, you probably never see him with people like that. You understand? It's like people, you ain't met nobody that can claim they run with me. You done met somebody around here that said they ran with me. No, you ain't ran with me. No. No. I stay busy doing what God put me here for. You know. Now way back, you find some brothers that we used to shoot pool together and go to little pool tournaments and stuff like that when I first got here. And there was only a few brothers there. You know. But you know, as I grew and as I began to grow, you know, and even then, they didn't find me gambling, trying to gamble on games and all that kind of stuff. I didn't do that. I was a Muslim then. I like shooting pool, still like shooting pool, just ain't had time to do it. But we enjoyed it doing that. I've always been down to earth. You know, I'm not a person that think I'm so holy that I can't talk to people. You know, there ain't no little holier than thou stuff. I ain't never been that. You know, I talk to people from no matter what persuasion they from. I can talk to anybody. You know, and not be so full of myself that got to look down my nose at somebody. But when I find out that you don't have the respect for me that you want me to have for you, well, then that shows me that you are an unjust person. You know, I can quote back to you what you say, and then when I say something to you and tell you I told you this and told you that, well, say that again. Well, that tells me you wasn't listening to me. So no, I don't want to talk to you. No, not no more tonight. Now, when you talk to me again, and if you got a good heart, if you got good in your heart, you'll talk to me again. I'll be on the air again Sunday. But next time you talk to me, you'll pay attention. And you'll show me that you're paying attention by when I give you the truth. If you can't say that it's not the truth, then the only thing to do is say, okay, I understand now, and we move on. We don't keep discussing that, going back and forth with some hypotheticals. There's nothing further to discuss on that. You're not going to make wrong right in my sight. Don't come here playing with me. So, you know, we mean good to you, but don't come in here playing with us. You go play your games with people that you out there playing them with, but don't you bring your game in here. This is a truth forum. To say a scriptural discussion with the Son of Man is just another way of saying the truth, a truth discussion with the Son of Man. I wasn't speaking in hypotheticals when I was speaking about that man's not upholding the Constitution. I cited the cases. I told you anybody that does not have respect and does not truly care about all of the American people has no business being the president of the United States. Because the minute you became president, then you became president over all 50 states. Which means that everybody in those states, you are supposed to represent them as you would like to be represented if your roles were reversed. That's called patriotism. You know why they say patriotism and not matriotism? It's because patriotism represents fathers. I don't care how mad my father got at one of us. He didn't stop going to work. He didn't stop providing food for the whole house. Even the one he was mad at could get to that dinner table and eat. When the one that he was mad at needed shoes, he went and got them shoes. Because he was the father of us all. You don't call George Washington the father of this nation and then don't expect other people to lead by his example. So I don't go along with being up over people. If I hated white people, then I'm not fit to judge them. Just as you notice, even the Marines at Camp Lejeune, they can't do nothing. They couldn't do nothing while that hurricane was still stirring out there. The emotions, the elements was in motion, preventing them from getting out there rescuing people like they would like to. Likewise, strong emotions cloud good judgment. You cannot, if you are filled with so much, you're filled with hatred, then that hatred will cloud your good judgment. It will make you lean one way or the other, and a judge supposed to be straight up and down. Not leaning this way or leaning that way. You see, so I don't have no particular hatred for any person. But I hate wrong. I hate evil. And when you mistreat people, and you are in a position of advantage, and you have them at a disadvantage, and then you mistreat them, you have no business having an advantage over them. You have no business being in charge of them. That's just evil. That's wrong. You should recuse yourself. You should resign and say, look, I can't do this because I don't like that so-and-so there. And if I stayed up here, I know I done already got my mind made up what I'd do to him. And then you just step aside. And when should a judge step aside? If just the appearance, even though he may not be partial, but if it just appears that he may be partial, he needs to step aside for the sake of the judiciary. See, you notice people used to get mad at me because they think because I love black people. Yes, I love my people. I'm not going to apologize for loving my own people. But I look like telling you, oh no, I don't love them. Oh no, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. A man can love his family without mistreating yours. I don't fault Mr. Thomas Robb for loving white people. He ought to love his people. I'd much rather deal with a white man that truly loves his people than one who hides under the guise of loving his people just so he can get their support to help him mistreat somebody else. Because if you truly love your people, you're not going to invite them to help you do something that's going to cause harm to them. And whenever you do wrong to people, whenever you are unjust to other people, making justice catch up with you, which means you're going to have to suffer for that. Now, if you love your people, then why would you lead them into doing something that's going to come back later and bite them? If a man loves his people, I can have a very brotherly conversation with him, because in that sense, he and I are brothers. I love my people. And if you don't, when you don't know what good, if you can't see no good in somebody else, find the person that love them, and they'll tell you about the good their people are doing. Then you'll know what's good about their people. You understand? So, it just always works out better if those of us who claim that we love our people would spend time doing things to show our people that we love them. I don't think it's nobody that's with me. If they stay with me long enough, they'll know how I feel about them by what they see me do for them. And if you ain't seen it yet, I'm working my way to you. I ain't got no unlimited resources. You don't have to tell me what you need. I know what you need. I'm here with you. I'm doing my best to create a situation where I don't have to pass a bucket. Pass a hat. It goes that old saying, you give a man a fish, he eat for a day. Teach him how to fish, and he can feed himself for the rest of his life. That's what I want to do. I want to teach you how to do for yourself. Whatever you like to do, I want to help you be able to do that. If you don't know how, then we go to school. Learn how. And learn how to do it on a professional and on the most excellent way. On the most excellent of levels. The one thing, your intelligence. If you love your people, then the one thing that you should never want their intelligence to be charged with is less than excellent. That's how you know that those people in Congress need to be replaced, most of them, especially them who now done hijacked the Republican Party. You need to get some people back in Congress that really care about America, and then the educational system will be fine, because they will start funding it, and they will start putting more qualified people in there to teach our young people. That's the greatest gift that any government can give to its people, is an excellent education. don't cut corners when it comes to educating your children. Oh, a man like Donald Trump couldn't have got elected if your education had been what it's supposed to be. You would not have put an uncivilized man in the most powerful office on the earth. Talking about you don't want no politician. You planning on doing away with politics? Well, if you're not going to do away with politics, then you can't say you don't want a politician. For the minute you enter into the political arena, you become a politician. They play with words on you. You need a man that understands politics. But once he gets into office, you need a man that understands the difference in a politician and a statesman. Do you understand? A statesman is loyal to his nation. A politician is loyal to his party. But in order sometimes to get elected, you have to know the game of politics, the politician. And then when you get into office, you get in there and you take an oath not to your party, but you take an oath to the Constitution of the United States. And if the elections are fair, if the elections are true, then you will earn the people's next vote by what you did in there for the time that you served. Wouldn't make no difference how much money somebody put in the election to try to sway you if you had the proper education. Because you would always say, okay, where's your facts that prove what you just said about this man? Let us hear from him. If you're going to put this out here about him, let's hear from him. Let's see what, see what he has to say about it. Your problem is you run with gossip. You ain't never had nobody lie on you and say something about you that wasn't true? Well, if you've had that experience, then why are you so quick to run with some gossip that you hear just because it's coming from a lot of people? That don't mean that it's true. But anyway, it's just like all of you who claim, who try to act like you support Trump and you feel that everybody is lying on him. You know you're the liar. And Donald Trump is a liar. And in order to support him, you have to lie too. Man stood up in front of the whole world and said, Russia, if you're listening. Now, why would he think Russia was listening? Well, unless he had already had some conversations with him. It don't take no rocket scientist to figure that out. I mean, if I'm talking, and I'd say, if I don't know who down there in the kitchen, why am I calling names? Russia, if you're listening. How come he didn't say China. If you listening. Huh? He said that because he knew that they were listening. And he told them what he needed them to do. Now you can try to talk that talk all you want. See, your problem is people can do stuff right in front of you and you blind, deaf, and dumb. But I'm not. I know what motivates certain statements because I remember things that happened in my life and how people was talking and they would say so and so, if you listening, do so and such and so and so and so. And they knew they was listening. And he keep talking about no collusion, no collusion. Well, if there's no collusion, why you got to keep saying it? If a person said, well, look, I ain't got no money in my pocket. If they really ain't got none, they ain't got to keep saying that. You can come up and search them. Yeah, go ahead. What? Because he know he ain't got no money. Then if he ain't did nothing, he don't care how long they investigate. You can't find what ain't there. Is that right? But if you say it's been going on too long, this has been going on now, we need to put an end to this. Why? Why not let the wheels of justice turn like they turn? Because all they can find is there was no collusion. If there was no collusion. Is that right? But when you start accusing those investigators of somehow manufacturing something, oh, you got a problem there. Because the next question is, where's your evidence that the FBI has ever manufactured anything on anybody? Now, why would they all of a sudden, after having a stellar record of that, why would they all of a sudden have to manufacture something about you? Why would they ruin their reputation over you? And let's face it, you don't have to manufacture no evidence against Donald Trump. He give you evidence every time he opens his mouth. Huh? He even suggested that he might take over the investigation. What? He even got Devin Nunes and their other clones up there sitting up talking about they're going to investigate the FBI. What brought that on there? Is this the same? Is this the same people who had the FBI investigating Miss Clinton? They didn't seem to have no problem with them then. I didn't hear you. Why all of a sudden is the FBI suspect? They weren't accusing the FBI of being crooked when they was investigating Miss Clinton. Were they? I told you, treason. Treason. Yeah. Then there was, well, I wasn't trying to commit treason. You wasn't trying. You was doing it. You sit up there and suggested to the American people that the FBI needed to be investigated. Based on what evidence? Okay. Yeah, you can get mad at me all you want. You can. Yeah, it don't make me no never mind about how mad you get, because I ain't did nothing but told you the truth. I told all of you the truth. Who in here denies that I'm speaking the truth? I mean, I give any man that's not in a position of. Thank you, baby. I give any man that's not in a position of power, of authority. He got his freedom to express his opinion about anybody. But when you get in a position where you have a captive audience when you speak, I mean, you can get on the airways and take over the airways if you need be. A governor can do it. A president can do it. When he feels it's necessary, he can interrupt programming. Well, to have that type of authority, then you must know that when you exercise that authority, that's not a private citizen. That's the governor who's collecting taxes from every member of the state. People that's go to the market, they paying your salary. Every time they pay a tax or whatnot. That's helping to keep you up there. You don't have no right to be attacking them people from that pulpit that they gave you. You have to be very careful. You must always speak. From that pulpit, you must speak as the governor. You must speak as the president. And you keep your private opinions to yourself until you leave that office. Now, if what I just said is wrong, how come ain't nobody correcting me? Show me how what I just said is wrong. For I got that from watching presidents. That's how I know this man ain't no president. You ain't never seen a president of the United States act like him. Even Nixon. No, you. Anyway, like I said, now it's just like the man who was in here, and I didn't mind having a conversation with him until I found out he wasn't listening to me, and he told me he wasn't listening by asking me to repeat the answer to the question that he asked me to get in here. And I had already answered that question for him. No, I'm not, you're not going to play with me like that. You didn't even have no business asking me that. Because anybody who's been observing the news knows that the president was violating Mr. Kaepernick's right to the freedom of protest when he spoke as the president of the United States, calling them people SOBs if they didn't stand up while the national anthem was playing. That man don't care nothing about the flag. He actually trying to turn you against the flag. That's why he insulted John McCain, because he don't care nothing about the flag. You can't say you care about the flag, but you don't care about those who put their life in jeopardy to defend it. He ain't never put his life in jeopardy to defend the flag. Because he's a coward. That's what he is. Donald Trump ain't nothing but a coward. Why you think he keeps sending Sarah Sanders and all of them out there to talk for him, to meet the press? He's a lying coward. And Ted Cruz had called him that before and now begging him to come there. That proved Ted Cruz ain't got no business being in the Senate. Man insulted his wife and everything else. Now he there begging him to come there and campaign for him. Oh, shoot. If I couldn't win without him, I wouldn't win. If it was me, no, I'm not going to sit up here and pretend to go along with a man like that. That's the one thing I say about the governor of Ohio, Mr. What's his name? Governor Kasich. Governor Kasich, he didn't change his view. No. A spade didn't become a heart with him. He still calling Donald Trump just what he always called him, unfit. You want to have a rally, and Governor Kasich didn't even show up. He didn't go to no rally with him. He looked like supporting a man like that. Now, I can respect that. That's a man who cares about his country instead of a man who cares about some party. So, anyway, you notice ain't none of them saying nothing. You say, well, he won't let you talk. I will let you talk. But if you want us to listen to you, you're going to show us that you listening too. So, man, they put it on. He done. What did Donald Trump say? Flipping ought to be against the law. He wants the law to be that you can't flip. Ain't that something? If you start off crooked and helping somebody do crooked things, it's against the law for you to go back and say, confess, and then tell on the other one. No telling. All right? Do you see how crazy that sounded? But he said it. Donald Trump said he hate flippers. Is that what he said? He was trying to encourage Manafort to not flip. He thought that what? You think Manafort didn't see how Donald Trump rolls? He didn't know how he rolled. When he can't use you no more, he kicked you to the curb. When he couldn't use America no more, the banks in America, when they found out that he was a bad risk, they stopped loaning him money. He started going to Russia and borrowing money from them and fell out with America. Huh? That's why he don't want no laws and to control and to lending laws and all that kind of thing, because it prevents him from doing the stuff he been doing. That's why he don't want no regulations. You better wake up. How many of y'all think that I'm over what you call being overly dramatic and over concerned? Let's see here. Let's see. It is. Just give me a minute. Now, you remember he said, "Thank God for WikiLeaks." You remember when he was hooked up there with them folks? Thank God for WikiLeaks, huh? Well, thank God for YouTube. Let's see here.
News because of the Michael Cohen thing. Cohen, Trump's former lawyer, pleaded guilty to 2 campaign finance felonies this week. In the process, he identified the president as a co-conspirator who directed him to break the law. Trump wasn't charged, likely because the Justice Department's policy is that a sitting president can't be indicted. But Trump says the whole thing's a sham anyway.
I watched a number of shows. Sometimes you get some pretty good information by watching shows. Those 2 counts aren't even a crime.
Trump's theory is that Cohen admitted to 2 phony campaign finance crimes so that he would get a break on 6 other real crimes, including bank fraud and tax fraud.
And they put the 2 counts of campaign violations in there, but a lot of lawyers on television, and also lawyers that I have seen, that they're not even crimes.
Then why would he use that information for
because he makes a better deal when he uses me.
Trump's theory means the judge too had to be in on the conspiracy because the judge accepted Cohen's guilty pleas to the crimes Trump says aren't crimes. It's a shaky theory, but at the heart of it all, says Trump, is a common law enforcement practice.
It's called flipping, and it almost ought to be illegal.
It means the everyday practice of law enforcement making deals with some criminals in exchange for information about other criminals.
They make up things, and now they go from 10 years to they're a national hero.
Which brings us to David Pecker, CEO of the company that publishes the National Enquirer and also implicated in the campaign finance story. At about the time that Trump was telling Fox flipping should be illegal, Pecker was flipping on him. He's been granted immunity in exchange for giving information to the feds about Cohen and about Trump. Keepo, CBC News, Washington.
Now, David Pecker could be a prominent figure in all of this because he's been a friend of Donald Trump's for decades, even considered one of the few he could really trust, but maybe not anymore. So what else do we...
Don't you know liars don't have no true friends? Liars cannot have true friends. Why is that? Because if the person that they call friends ever find out the truth, that friendship is over. And the truth always, look, truth is reality. It's just like, remember all that stuff, witch hunt, witch hunt, witch hunt. Now, Manafort, who he was praising, now Manafort done confessed. Do you suppose he's still going to be hollering witch hunt? A witch hunt is a search for something that ain't there. That's why they call it a witch hunt. Do you understand? It's a phony investigation. A pretend like Benghazi. That was a witch hunt that they put up against Miss Clinton. Do you understand? What came out of it? Did any confessions come out of it? Did any evidence making her guilty come out of it? That's what a witch hunt is. You see? So now you got the truth is out now. The truth, the reality is that Manafort was a criminal. When they was hollering, lock her up, lock her up, lock her up. Now everybody that was in that camp leading the chant What's happening to them? Get locked up. Huh? You know, we can thank Allah for the YouTube record, and we can thank Allah for the FBI. That's right. For they had our back when we didn't even know that we needed somebody to have our back. Look, they've been on the case when we didn't know nothing. Huh? Even when the crooks didn't know nothing, thought they was getting away with something. Why you think he called the American justice system a joke? Because he thought he was getting away with all of this stuff. Just to find out, man, they've been watching them people for years. Huh? That's what you do when you're investigating something. You watch a scientist when he's in a laboratory. He might be eating a sandwich and just looking through the microscope. And he'd be eating, and then he put it down and turn the little dial on that to get it up more. He's investigating. That's just another way of saying studying. When you study, you quietly look it over, and you look it over and over and over until the truth manifests itself to you. You know, Allah already told us that he created the heaven and the earth with what? With truth. So everything that you see, everything that exists, if you study it long enough, the truth that's in it will manifest itself. You understand? The truth about that thing will manifest it to you if you study it. You see? Just like when the lawyer came out there and said he wanted his family, Manafort said he wanted his family to be safe. I mean, what was that about? See, you didn't listen. But you see, I was listening. If I tell you everything I know, these people gonna hurt my family, man. Well, tell them, don't worry about your family. We're gonna take care of you. Huh? Yeah. So all praise is due to Allah. So I'm how much time we got? We got some more time. Well, then let's teach some more. Now, Friday, I left off with Roy on them, didn't I? Okay. Let's get back to Roy on them. Y'all give me a minute.
Royal Jenkins and United Nation of Islam came into being at a time when there wasn't a lot of other people willing to invest in these communities.
Sure, correct.
These were the ignored.
See, now that's a lie. That's not true. The Nation of Islam was already investing, teaching us to invest in our own communities. Royal didn't just come out the blue. He used the name Nation of Islam. He called that stuff he was doing the United Nation of Islam because the Nation of Islam had a good reputation. And Royal had been supposedly a part of the Nation of Islam. But all the while, he was a con man. Remember something. Before the Nation of Islam, Malcolm was a hustler and a dope dealer. Huh? Most most of the people that was in the nation had been people who would terrorize you before they heard the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And so he changed them with what he was teaching them. He changed them to start doing differently. And he showed them how to go in business and to be reputable. And but some of them, all they was thinking about was the money. They wasn't thinking about righteousness. The messenger asked the question and answered it. He said, are there any Muslims other than righteous? And he said, I beg your pardon, I've never heard of one. So if you're not righteous, you're not a Muslim. But Ra, he's a con man, and he saw the power in what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was teaching. It had power to hold people spellbound, because our people had never heard that before, had never seen black people with that kind of knowledge to assert their manhood and womanhood. And it attracted us. And Ross saw it as a means to attract people to him. And then, because most people didn't understand when the messenger said the black man is God, then everybody run around here talking about, well, the black man, all black man is God. Now, that's not what the messenger was teaching. That's what you understood him to mean. But that's not what he was teaching. He was teaching the same thing that the Holy Quran says. Allah said, I'm going to create a man from sounding clay of black mud. He's going to be black, fashioned in the shape. So when I have made him complete and breathed into him of my spirit, fall down making obeisance to him. So he is rightly called the Lord God, the Lord of men, the King of men, the God of men. And he's black, and he's standing here. And you don't hear none of them challenging me. If you think you have a challenge for me, come in here and let me hear your argument against me. I will question you and you question me. And let's see which one of us have the truth. Don't come in here without your scripture now. Because you know that's the first thing that you got to do. Since you claiming to be the God, well, then the word of God is right here. So I know you understand it, since it's your word. Now, if I didn't understand it, you'd be rushing in here. Because then you'd be knowing your guess is as good as mine. But I do understand it. With the help of Allah, I understand it. It's just like what you do. You notice, with the help of your bloodstream, your brain is able to function properly. With the help of your bloodstream, you are able to move your limbs. With the help of your bloodstream. With the help of Allah coursing, with the help of the truth coursing through my mind, I understand the truth. Do you understand? Oh, that's what I mean when I say with the help of Allah. I'm talking about with the help of the truth that Allah have blessed me to understand. The truth is the only thing can guide you to the truth. A lie can't guide you to the truth. So the truth is my God. And so I'm the temple of truth. We are one. I and my Father are one. You see, the Holy Quran told you that. Say He, Allah, is one. I and my Father are one. So now let's get back to Roy now. So when she said that Roy and them, they trying to give you, this is people who wasn't in the nation, and they gonna now try to give you an understanding of the nation. No, Roy and them is just a fulfillment of what the messenger said, that the others that's coming after me, they coming to destroy you for not listening to what I'm teaching. Roy was one of them. Look at all of the lives he destroyed. That if they had known the truth, that had paid attention to the messenger, they would have known Roy wasn't nobody to be followed simply by what he was calling himself. But the messenger told them that the one coming after him is the Son of Man. He didn't say he said he is called and is known as the Son of Man. Didn't say he's called and known as Roy. Now did it? Okay, let me show you. You know, I likes to prove things that I say. I don't just say something. Let's see here. I think this is it right here, cut to the chase. Just give me a minute.
You are Elijah Muhammad, the preacher of freedom, justice, and equality to you, my fool. Because we live in a world guided by the open enemy, the devil himself, our father, rebellion, and deceit. Here we are today, on trial, before the God who will judge us all. Who will this God be? The Son of Man, both Bible and Holy Quran declares. He will be a man, a son from a man, Son of Man. Not a formless spirit that the scientists, scholars of religion have given this name. So that judge on that day, the day of judgment in which we now live, will be a man. Who will judge the Son of Man? Who is this Son of Man, you may question? He is a man that the Almighty God of the black man's nation made for the purpose of being the judge today. He's called and is known as the Son of Man. This makes it clear to you from both scripture, books of man, and is known today. He's called and is known as the Son of Man.
Who do you know of that's called and known as the Son of Man other than me? Who? Who do you know of that's called and known as the Son of Man other than me? And who do you know of that's standing up in front of the whole world on the internet telling them I'm judging them all? You see all of these. You ain't never seen the kind of storms that they showing you now. Have you? Yeah. That's how Allah stop your mouth. You see, you was being so disrespectful that Allah, he said, that's all right, son of man, I'm gonna call the reserves out. You know, the snow and the treasures of the snow and the hail that he said he had reserved against the time, for the time of trouble and the day when in righteousness I would be here making war. Oh yeah. You notice you talk about people's, when you come to a lying world, to a world that's built on lies, and you come in there speaking the truth, man, they ready to kill you. Huh? So Allah said, no, I got you back, son of man. Don't be afraid of them. Don't be afraid of their words, nor their looks. Said, take that book and eat it up and go there and speak with my words to them. Whether they hear you or whether they refuse. For they are most rebellious. Huh? Yeah. So anyway, so when you hear people talking about royal them and trying to suggest that he somehow filled a vacuum, no, he did not. A lot of the people that was in the nation of Islam when the messenger was here, they went there and started helping royal because they misunderstood the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And they, instead of realizing that, just like he gave them this album, The Judgment of the World Is Now, that album came out before I came in the nation. And he told them, he said, who will judge? He said, the Son of Man. He is called and is known as the Son of Man. Was Royal called and known as the Son of Man? Or did he call himself Solomon? Huh? Even the scripture condemned that. The scripture said the queen of the south came from the utmost parts of the earth just to hear the wisdom of Solomon. He said, but a greater than Solomon is here. Hey, you know, I got plenty proof of who I am and what my purpose is. If people had just gave me a chance, I could have helped all of them. But they didn't give me a chance. So there's nothing I could do for them. So what can I say? Let's get back over here and listen to him some more.
Elected neighborhoods that nobody wanted to go there. Absolutely. And here was somebody saying,
I believe in you. Here's some money. You can do better. We can do better.
That's right.
It's powerful.
Right.
The United Nation of Islam is trying to bring hope back by doing right on Bandera. Not to be confused with Farrakhan's group, the United Nation is about making a positive change.
I was 12 years old. My parents received a phone call from.
Just like they said, the United Nations was about making a positive change. Why didn't they say they was said they was about being about a positive change? Because they didn't do nothing. They didn't make no positive change. They went through the motions of doing it, and then it degenerated into what you saw. I mean, it's some terrible stuff that, you know, I heard that may be under investigation about, you know, deaths of people and stuff. But these is the kind of people that's out there. taking our teachings and doing with the teachings of the last messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the same thing that they was doing with the teachings of Muhammad of 1400 years ago when he wasn't there no more. The same thing they was doing with the teachings of Jesus when he wasn't here no more. The same thing they was doing with the teachings of Moses when he wasn't here no more. You had conniving dreamers who wanted power over people and saw the power that was in the words that the messengers of God had. And when those messengers wasn't here no more, they started taking the words of those men and adding there are no good additions to it and deceiving people. That's why the book called them wolves in sheep's clothing. They come to you pretending to quote the messenger of God, clothed in his teachings, like the hypocrites who pretend to be wrapping themselves up in the American flag as patriots, as like Trump, who pretend to be a patriot. And then when he see people exercising their rights under the very flag that he claims to respect, he cuss them out and belittles them for exercising rights that that flag represents. Here this man, supposedly, Islam is freedom, justice, and equality. Then what was he doing to those people? He living good, taking their wealth and spending it on himself. Ain't that something? He living good while they doing all the work. That's not what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was doing. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad made us some of the most successful black people on this planet. And he just brought the foundation and told us that something greater was coming. He said, ain't nobody coming behind me but God. I better tell you that. Then Royal claimed to be God. But now watch this.
First one. We were informed that my brother and I were ready to take our next step into manhood. And what that meant was we were to go to the community of the United Nations of Islam. The community is known as heaven. Now, you got a bunch of negative things happening in the community, drugs, gang banging, violence, and then you have a place that claims the opposite of it. Of course, you want your children to participate in something better than what they're used to.
In actuality, that's what the Nation of Islam had been doing for 43 years. Bringing our people out of a violent history, out of a self-hatred, and taking us in them same communities where we had tore up. The messengers started teaching us to go back and rebuild them. Make your place where you are a decent place to live. That's what he said. He said heaven is not a place. Heaven is a condition. And he was right. And hell is a condition. Any place is heaven and any place is hell. It depends on what kind of people are there. But Royal had them at a disadvantage. Royal had heard the messenger, but most of the people that was them children and stuff that was following him, they didn't know nothing about the messenger. They just knew about Royal. And a lot of the people that was with Royal, when they realized that they had been duped, a lot of them, some of them was ashamed, and some of them was afraid to speak up. And it's all kind of things that go through your mind when you realize that you've been tricked. But the messenger told everybody. He said, the others. He said, I'm the last man to try to pull you out of the way of doing that you learned under white people. He said, I'm the last one. He said, the others. And he put an S on others. They coming to destroy you for not listening to what I'm teaching. You notice everything I tell you, I let you hear the messenger bear me witness. Is Farrakhan doing that? Was Royal doing that? Is Silas doing that? None of them do that. Because if they start doing that, you start expecting them to, well, where did the messenger say that? Where did the messenger say this about you? Where was this about you? So they didn't start that so that you would not expect that. Do you understand? The messenger told you that the one who was coming after him is called and known as the Son of Man.
And so bags were packed that night. We were told transportation will be here tomorrow to get you. And so when tomorrow came, it was very scary. We didn't know who we were staying with. We didn't know who it was that was transporting us. It was a semi-truck. It read on the side, the United Nations of Islam, and we rode it back to be transported to that. When the truck pulled up, me and my brother got off. The first thing they told us was, this is the FY barracks. So leaving your parents' house and transitioning into barracks, it's a place where soldiers reside. So we're no longer children. We're expected to be soldiers. We're expected to be men. And that meant anything that came along with that, you had to endure it.
You know, being young is one thing, but being young and dumb and rebellious is another that is not tolerated. Now, in our attempt to make sure that you develop properly, sometimes you make us bring out unpleasantries.
We put our trust into something that we thought was a religion, which turned out to be a monster.
So like I was saying, have to be strong, and it's a great deal.
You know, I love saving money.
What is it? What does the person that was watching this program, what do they have to, first steps they have to make to start processes seeing a lot? Because they're not going to see it developing at your physical person.
True. Like I've done with many people, and that has been with me, and that is still on. They change their looks, they change their thinking, they change their bank accounts, because of the discipline that they learn of what truth produces.
So let's talk a little bit about your trip to heaven. It's because I'm a mom of two boys about the same age as you and your brother were when you were 7, but that really got to me watching you talk about that.
And you notice, he said they changed one part of that, they changed their bank account. Probably have their money go straight to his account. If you're not misusing people or whatnot, why you got to change their bank account? They can keep their bank account and just cut you a check out of that. Ain't that right? But, you know, when you taken from people, that's why I tell you, you don't have to let people know that you investigating. You can just up and visit them sometime. If you don't want to go, send somebody to visit. Don't go by there and check and see what they really doing over there. Huh? How could you live in a society as technologically advanced as America and not learn something about how to investigate things? I tell people all the time, look, if you really want to know what somebody is really about, just go through there and take a look. They don't even have to know that you visiting them for that purpose. Just stop by. Hey, let me see what y'all doing, man. What is this? And what are you doing? I'm always concerned about people who you got to make an appointment before you can just see their community or whatnot. What is that about? Yeah, people used to tell me, well, what about the compound where y'all? I said, what compound? We ain't got no compound. The Nation of Islam never had a compound. We live right next door to our people. Next door to the people that we claim we there to help. And yet none of them can say that we ever trespass on their property. No, I'm a good neighbor. I don't go on your property without your permission. You don't have to lock your stuff up to keep me from coming over there bothering it. You don't need no bars on your windows to keep me from breaking in your house when you gone. Anyway, it's late. I started too late on that, but I'm gonna get back on it Sunday. We'll have some time Sunday. Okay? But don't be running after. Look, from now on, when you meet somebody that claim they part of the Nation of Islam, tell them, hey, look, this man out here saying he the Son of Man, and he said that there ain't no Muslims but the ones who following him. Why don't you come in there and let me hear you and him have a discussion? And I'll show you that I didn't lie to you. They the one lying. And I'll ask them questions that'll make them prove that they lying. Because I know what the messenger taught. I know what's in our lessons. I don't have to know them all. I know enough questions to ask that when they answer them, then they condemn themselves. I let them hear the messenger tell them. He said, ain't nobody coming behind me but God. I better tell you that. The scripture said, know ye that the Lord, he is God. That's not something that's not provable. The scripture said, behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of who? Of the Lord. So you should not have expected anybody to come after Elijah but the Lord himself. That is, if you believe in the scripture. Now, if I'm not the Lord himself, come in here and show me why I'm not. All right. May Allah bless us, keep us safe, and in our right minds. And I look forward to talking with some of you tomorrow in prayer service. If you ain't coming in there to have prayer, that's not the place to come to get into no debates with me. You come into our meeting. If you come to prayer service, then you come in to have prayer with us. And we coming in there acting no fool. All right. And may Allah continue to bless us and keep us safe and in our right minds. May Allah's Salam Alaikum.
Your